take it away.
Thanks, Dan, and thanks, Mike. Your story is amazing. Um, I actually have a lot of family in Winnipeg. My grandparents are buried there, and I have the T-shirt. Well, I had the T-shirt that says like "Where the hell is Winnipeg?" and the back said "Who the hell cares?" So, um, I I wanted to ask you a little bit more personal question. You don't have to answer it, but just when you talk about the story about the single mother, um, I've been a single mother for a long time for my children, and so I would love to know, on one hand, how do you raise your children, who obviously are haves? How do you raise them with the considerations of how you valued how you were raised, and kind of on the flip side, have you? I don't know, about your mother now, but after your success. So this is Andrea.
Thanks all around the world. People know Winnie the Pooh, and he's from Winnipeg. So yeah, I'll take the second one first. I was very, very fortunate to after we were in business for like 10 or 11 years. My mom helped me all along in business when we started Manitoba Harvest. She was one of my first shareholders. She still didn't have a lot of money, but created more success as she went along in her career. And so she invested, $5,000 as our first shareholder, which is what she could. But then I had the privilege of hiring her into the business, and she, for like the last 7 years of her career, worked at Manitoba Harvest, and through both of the sales of the business, she was our first or second in command for finance, and so just I'm very grateful that I had that time with my mom, and she saw some of the not only saw the wins, but was right there beside me when we were when we were achieving it. Unfortunately, how kind of life works, but when we sold the business in 2019 for the 419 million. Literally, my mom worked and her finance team to close that deal. And and she was 65, and the day after the deal closed, she retired. And 3 weeks after she retired, she passed away unexpectedly. So there wasn't a chance to spoil her. She worked for 40 years as a single mom and worked her butt off. But it reminded me of life's too short, and anything can kind of happen. So that's that piece of the story. And the first one, which is maybe a little bit more positive, how I raise my kids. I raise my kids like my mom raised me, even though we're in a, I'm in a better financial situation than when I was young. I treat my children, and they're 12 and 10 now, and I'm a single parent half the time. But I treat them like people, not like children, and I'm teaching them what life is really like, and how to conduct themselves and take care of themselves, and how to operate a budget for the house, and so that they're just. I think about my role as a parent is I'm the training wheels for my kids until they're of the age that they're going to go off into the world and make the impact that they're going to do. And so I've never treated them like kids, because I wasn't treated like a kid when I was young. I think that's part of the person I am and the success that I've created.
Thank you. Thank you for those answers. I'm sorry about your mother. I'm sorry about that. And I appreciate your answers. And I think we need to do another room, Dan, on how he educates his children, and also another room on just talking about your health, because I'm fascinated by all of it. So this is Andrea. I'm done. Thank you.
I think we could do a lot of spin-off rooms, Mike.
I'm happy you get me in a room talking about health. I can geek out about health, and more specifically, like some of the things that I've learned, and I think can be helpful to other people, because it's not mainstream information. Unfortunately, like 90% of the population is metabolically unhealthy, and it mostly ties to food. But I'll shut up for about that for now.
Yes, we're going to get that in the books. We're going to do a spin-off room. So just so everybody knows, we're talking here with Mike Fata. Amazing story. You can read his bio right there. I know you've said it a few times, but Manitoba Hemp Harvest actually sold twice. First time for over 100 million, second time for over 400 million. He's also been there you go. Got Dan's. I mean, you need a loud horn for that. But also recently was instrumental. Tremendous story. So we have a lot of questions. Sorry if I can't see you on the screen. It's just a lot of scrolling. But I have Pete, Craig, Julie, Claudette, Shireen, and Dan. And then we can go from there for somebody else. Mike has 30 more minutes, so please keep your question concise and one question. Then also, please make sure you're following Mike. He's up here at the top of the green. He's got 4.4 thousand followers. Let's get that thing up to 4.6, 4.8 thousand. Show him love that he is making a difference in your life, because that's what this room and club is all about, to impact entrepreneurs. So, Pete, ask your question. Take it away.
Hey, Mike, Pete DeMar here. Good to see you on the stage. It's really nice to see your hear and learn more about your story, even though we've moderated a number of times together with many of the great people on this stage. And condolences. It's funny, I was already in the queue, and I also lost my mother months after she retired. So just it's crazy, and I almost feel like we're kindred spirits because I feel like I'm essentially a younger version of you, just doing my work in the green building space, and trying to educate people on all the toxicity that's in our built environment surrounding us. So we should probably compare notes there too. Absolutely loved what you said on servant leadership and integrating and prioritizing impact. And I'm curious, from your specialty and your expertise, like, is that already prioritized from either an investment or a resource perspective? How can people contribute or collaborate with you in that regard? And what do you think is the biggest opportunity to help impact people's health through the good work that you
Yeah, thanks, Pete. There's a whole bunch there, so I'll try to attack at it. But I think that growing up with a single mom and not my dad's influence, and what people told me when I was young, I was like sensitive. It was part of the bullying. I realized that the sensitivity, I developed a higher emotional quotient, or EQ. I could just feel what other people are feeling, and the walk that they're walking in life. And so as that relates to servant leadership, in my business, I would never ask anyone to do something that I wouldn't do myself. And I wanted to do it myself to understand, how hard it was and how long it took and what my expectation could be of getting that job done. And then from there, really setting someone up for success, that they could do the role and do it really well. And I've always thought that way. And so as I carried that on, and as the business grew more and more, it was not necessarily working one-on-one with our team members. It was developing that culture that the whole organization stood for that. And then outside of Manitoba Harvest, I guess I've personally started to be known for that, and I bring that to every organization that I'm belonged in. Sometimes helping to realign or restructure the culture, so that it is a servant leadership culture, because I do believe that that's the way to true success, and helping people be successful in their job. I'm hoping that answered the basis of your question.
Yeah, it did. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you so much.
You're welcome.
Mike, before we go on to the next question, please, can you share how can people get in touch with you? And then I know you have a startup toolbox. I know you're even doing some rooms on that. Can you just quickly share how they can get to that, and then how they can contact you? Then we'll move to the next question.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Should the tee up on that. Well, LinkedIn. I've never been a big social media guy, but in the last year, I kind of took to LinkedIn. So I'm on LinkedIn, and I like posting, and I like communicating, and using that as a tool. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I do have I just signed up for an Instagram account, and I have it linked to my profile, but I don't use Instagram. So please don't message me there. And I'm just using it to be able to check out stuff on Clubhouse, because I have been enjoying meeting entrepreneurs on Clubhouse and being able to see in Instagram what they're kind of doing. As it relates to the toolbox, yeah, Greg Fleischman put the offer out to me. Hey, do you want to put this startup toolbox together of all the forms and templates, which we have done, and so we created. It's a Dropbox file. It has probably about 100 different templates from financial modeling and sales modeling through to corporate documents of how you start a business, to HR job descriptions, and hiring letters, to contract manufacturers in the consumer packaged goods space. So all these tools that we would love to have over our 20 years of growing in the natural organic product space, and just make it available for free for people. So you can go into my bio, and it's an automated download. You can either send a text to the number that's in my bio, or send an email to the email that's in my bio, and you'll get a copy of the Dropbox. And we just keep on doubling down on that. So now we're holding our first session next Tuesday. I run weekly a room, Natural Product Founders Helping Founders, and we're going to use the session Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to do a training on the toolbox. Already hundreds of people have downloaded it, and again, it's fully free. It's not a sales funnel. It's not an upsell. It's Greg and I's way to be able to give back to the industry, and we feel like we've got a lot of great feedback, but it's just getting started. We're adding more to it, and we'll start to do more kind of trainings on it as well.
Thank you, Mike. So please, when I saw this, I was blown away that this was something they were giving away for free. I thought it was like $10,000, but get that. It's in his bio. You can see the toolbox. Also, make sure that you're following Mike up here at the top in the green. He's next to Frederick and Brad. Follow him, check out his bio, connect with him, and go get that toolbox. Every single person here is going to need that for sure. So we'll keep this thing going. I know Craig was up next. So, Craig, let us know your question to Mike here. Or did Craig already go? I'm sorry. I think it's Julie then.
I
I don't know.
actually, you know what? Thanks, Daniel. I was I have a whole slew of questions, but no. You were kind enough. I've already asked my question, so if you make it.
Okay, sorry about that, Craig. I had your name twice. Julie, you are up next. Would love to hear your question to Mike.
Thanks, Daniel. Hi, Mike. Nice to see you again.
Hi, Julie.
Congratulations on all this success. And special kudos to you for handling it with such grace. So my question is, there had to be a moment along the way when after you'd gone through some challenges and whatnot, where not that the business was going to be successful and you finally believed that it was really going to make it, but when you actually thought, wow, I, Mike Fata, can do this. I can really genuinely do this. Can you tell us that moment and what inspired it and what you did with that? This is Julie.
Yeah, I find business, Julie, is like it's not any big win. It's like a million little wins added up. But there's been inflection moments like, and Dan mentioned it earlier, but there's some great awards that I've won that have been moments that stopped me in my tracks because I thought I was just going through life and I'm building my business and like the little engine that could. I think I can. I'm doing it. But some of the awards and the bigger that the award got, and I just realize now that I can be successful. I think it's been those awards and
Mike.
yeah, and so
Mike, right? No pun intended.
Yeah, no, and those are the times that really gave me the. But I could say back in this kind of survival days of the business, when I was the biggest thing that helped, the two biggest things that like encouraged me to keep going when I thought it was just going to be that the business was going to fail or I was going to fail was one. Where am I going to get my hemp hearts from? Because I've been a hemp heart consumer. I eat 5 pounds of hemp hearts for my health a month for the last 20 years. And so in the early days, I was like, if we stop doing this business, where am I going to get hemp hearts from? And then two was we used to get so many testimonials and feedback from all different people from all different places. But the ones that really like hit me were like older senior ladies and that were eating our products, and it was they're like, my arthritis is better and I feel better. And so those were the things that really like showed me that I was not only creating best, but I had had a place in life to create success from.
Thank you.
Great
You're
question,
welcome.
Julie. Always great having you here. Claudette was next. I have Claudette, Shireen, then Dan. Then we might have room for some more. Mike has until 20 more minutes. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I'm good. Dan, I get Clubhouse. I'm happy to be here. If the people have questions and you guys have the stage, I'm happy to answer. But let's keep rolling. I'll let you know if I run into a conflict.
Okay, no worries, and awesome. So, Mike Fata up here. Let's keep this room going. We got 230 people. Let's keep this thing cranking. Invite, ping, press that plus symbol. Let's get this room above 300 and impact as many entrepreneurs. I know that's part of Mike's legacy in his life now is to impact more people through his toolbox and through sharing information, also getting people as healthy as they possibly can be. So let's get some more people in here that want to hear all about this. I know I have Claudette, Shireen, and Dan. So Claudette, you are up next. Please tell Mike your question.
Hi, Mike. Nice to meet you. I am in the wellness community. I'm so excited to share with you. My question is, so I am dealing with people constantly that have chronic body pain, autoimmune diseases. Um, and all we mostly talk about is working out or getting through the day mentally. But we all know that food, the addiction to sugar and to other things in foods, is really the foundation of the problem. So I would like to integrate into my business more of the conversation of how to get rid of the addiction, because that's really like what nobody wants to talk about, and that's the hardest work to do, is to clean out the addiction. So I like to hear, what have you figured out, or what are some tips on getting someone started, at least to, to face up and become responsible with how they eat.
Ooh, that's a great question. Right to my heart, Claudette. But and
Yeah,
it's not an easy answer.
it's not.
What,
And sorry to interrupt you. I'm just really excited to share with you, because I'm dealing with like mom, brother with autoimmune disease, with like heart failure, with like anything you can imagine. My mom retired 3 months ago, and the next day after her heart surgery, she now has dementia. So it's just, we focus on the meds and the, apparatus, and that relieve pain, but food, we're addicted to food. we're
yeah,
we're
yeah. No,
Latinos.
I get it.
And
No, I get it.
yeah,
And I tell people, like, because being a 300-pound guy, that I used to binge eat, and then I'd eat so much in a day that the next day I couldn't eat, and I had to, like, it's a mental health thing when it gets to that extreme. And food is the hardest addiction that we would all face. Why? Because you can't stop doing it like you could if you were addicted to, like, tobacco or drugs or alcohol or other things. And so you have to find the moderation with it. I could tell you that, from personal experience, and I've seen others and helped many others go down the path. It is one of being a natural food diet, predominantly, fruits and vegetables that can add all the nutrients that the body needs, and have cleansing actions in the body at the same time. For really extreme cases, there's some wellness institutes that do like 14 or 21-day programs where you go in, and you're like juice cleansing and eating like rainbow colored organic salads, and learning about the impact of, like, really, really clean diet. And it doesn't take years, it doesn't take months. It's amazing that you put the right food in your mouth, and not any of the kind of like poisons, the additives, preservatives, food colorings, chemicals that are just unfortunately legal to be sold and are in almost all the food that the society eats. The body responds really rapidly. You could lose inflammation, and pain and suffering goes away, and people can live to be their fullest self. And so, I'm not a big believer in diet, because I think restriction breeds perversion. You have to replace things that you like with new foods that you will equally enjoy, and I believe you will enjoy them even more after you feel the positive impact on the body, and you could be without pain and struggling.
correct. How does the body feel once it's cured from bad foods?
Feel amazing, unlimited energy all the time. It's from when I was 18 at 300 pounds, and I felt pain and suffering every single day, and I was sick and tired all the time, to now have none of that. But I'm very, I wouldn't say strict with my diet. I think about how I'm going to feel after I eat the foods, and so I eat a Mediterranean diet, and majority, like 99% organic, and fruits and vegetables, and all just clean eating. And I've been reading ingredients and labels, and studying foods for 25 years now, and the more clean that I've been with my diet, the better I feel, the stronger my immune system is, the better I can perform. And I'd encourage everyone to put more effort there.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So happy to connect with you.
You're very welcome.
Wow, incredible, Mike. Thank you. So, Mike Fata, two 9-figure exits, one over 100 million, one over 400 million. Really grew hemp to even what it is today. I mean, think about CBD and all the uses for hemp. So that might not even be the case without you, Mike. I'm sure that makes you feel pretty honored to be a part of that. So thank you. And we're honored that you're here, and we're humbled that you even came onto this stage with us. So we appreciate you. And up next is Shireen. I have Shireen, Dan, and then Christine as the next three. We have 14 minutes left, just giving everybody a heads up about what's going on. This is Founder Story. So click the house up top, what it takes to run a $1 million biz, and join the club so you get notified anytime that we do these. This is Founder Story interview. We do this, we do other interviews as well. And we're so happy that Mike today was joining us today for this founder story. So up next is Shireen. Shireen, take it away.
Hi there, Mike. As a user of your product and a fellow Canadian, my question is, what's a skill that you had to develop or you had and that you said, you know what, thank God I developed that or I had that because that has been the source of my success or the reason why I'm so successful? I'm Shireen the Orange Jack and I'm complete.
I think it's a skill that I had in me. I just had to realize it, and actually, my mom helped me realize it when I was young. I always knew that I had a great imagination when I was young, and but it was my mom that spending time with her and her projecting on me that I have a with that imagination, I have a very strong sense of vision, and I can vision. I can vision things well far in the future, but tie together the 1,000 steps that it's going to take to get to accomplish that vision, and I think that is overall one of my biggest strengths, and that's why I can get people want to be on my team or want to work with me as in my leadership, and because I can clearly show them, where we're going, what their part in the mission and journey is, and how successful we can be together. Thanks for that question.
Thank you. Great answer.
Thank you, Shireen. Great question. So up next is Dan. Dan, take it away.
Thank you. I take my headset out. Thank you very much for your time today, Mike. I really appreciate it, and you. I'm curious. I'm sorry. I was looking at your profile. Do you still live in Winnipeg or in Manitoba?
I do. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm a I'm a Peg City boy myself. I went to Daniel Mac from the West Side. Um, And I don't even had a chance to hear my story, but the fast version is that when I was 19, I lost my grandma, who was much like my mom to me, and then I split up with the girl that was pregnant with my kid too, and it just isn't a bad place. And you are the average of the five people you hang out with most. And I was from the west side of Peg City, uh, and I ended up getting hooked on crack. And over the course of 14 years, I battled with that addiction in and out for nearly 12 years. But then on November 20th, I was jumping Stony Mountain Pen and beat into a coma, and I came out of it after I came to terms with the fact that I'm here for a reason. Grateful that you have started Winnipeg, as I'm from the hood. Hopefully, help be able to starting to raise up some of those young men to change, to believe in themselves, so that we can start to change the problems that are in Winnipeg, because that's where a large part of it comes from. I'm sure you know that. So yeah, my question to you is, how can I help you and that organization in any way moving forward? I would love to partner with you if I could. That's my question to you, Mike. I just really appreciate you. And this is Dan. I'm done talking.
Thanks, Dan. And congrats on the in the changes in your life. Not everyone has. There's no one path in life. So when you're in a struggled space and you come out of it, then you're in a prime position to help other people. Yeah, our business wasn't connected. I mean, we helped out with Winnipeg Harvest. That fully is a volunteer organization, and I think they do a lot of honorable work. And if you want to get involved there, just knock on the door. They're always looking for people to be able to support, and that is that's a great foundation of a give back service in Manitoba.
Excellent. Thank you, Dan, for the question. Appreciate that. And thank you for sharing some of your story as well. There you go. My eardrums. Um, Up next is Christine. It looks like we might have time for two more. So we had Christine and Pasquale. And so, Christine, you're up next.
Thanks, Dan, and I'll be quick. So, Mike, a big shout out about T-Bay because I'm also a fellow Northern Ontario person. Grew up between Sudbury and the Sioux, so very close by. The legacy that you've chosen to live and be remembered for, obviously, is tied to the health and wellness space. And you mentioned the village that it takes to raise a child, and I'm wondering, as a part-time single parent, how you've created that village and also how you're instilling in your children and how you're teaching them to live their own legacy.
Well, thanks, Christine. Yeah, I mentioned it before, but it's all about community, and so as I've always, I think about it as a giving circle. The more that I give, the more opportunity there is for me, and I teach my kids about that all the time. But in the health space, I've done 25 years of nonprofit volunteer work on different organizations. The Hemp Industries Association, and then the Organic Trade Association, and then just running the board of the Canadian Health Food Association. So it's felt personally satisfying to me to help all those organizations. But at the same time, you just build such strong community of other people that are they want me to succeed because they see the work that I do, and so I encourage anyone. And I've said it before, and I post about it on LinkedIn that, like, if you're a young entrepreneur or you're a young executive or you're just getting into the workforce, go and volunteer. Find a board that you can volunteer for. Find a community center that you can volunteer for, because that give back is going to feel great to you, but you're also going to develop a community of like-minded people that you can be successful with. And as it relates to my kids, I allow my kids to be themselves. I'm not trying to get my kids to be me. I want to understand what their passions are, and they're very different as people, and then support their passions. They see their parents making a very positive impact in this world, and so they want to make a positive impact in this world. But it's going to be different than the impact that I've had, and I honor that space and create that space for them.
Thank you so much for that.
Great question. I think these are all lessons that we can all take away. So thank you, Mike. Pasquale, you're probably going to take it home here with the last question, I believe. So take it away.
All right, no pressure, right, Daniel? Thank you very much. Thank you, Mike. This is Pasquale with a tie now, a bottle of wine. Thanks for being here today. I just have a question for you here. I was reading today that if cannabis is officially federally legalized, the total cannabis market might be around $100 billion. And I'm wondering if you have any opinion about that, because that would basically put the whole wine, spirits, and beer industry, more or less. So I was wondering if you think that is a realistic number according to your opinion, if you have an opinion, and what would the impact be on the alcohol consumption in the United States in those three categories versus the cannabis consumption. So this is Pasquale with a tie and a bottle of wine.
Yeah, thanks, Pasquale. That one's close to me, both personally and in business. So I'm a big believer in all things cannabis. I've been a medicinal cannabis consumer for a long time, and also recreational. And we've seen that in Canada here. Recreational cannabis medicinal cannabis has been legalized federally since 2001. Recreational cannabis over the last 3 years at the end of 2018. So it is a big business, even though it's still at its, the industry is still just getting off the ground. And so I think, and I've seen the numbers, and I validate it. I'd say it's, there's $1 trillion global industry for cannabis. Right now we have two countries, Canada being the leader, because Uruguay is not that large. It has it legal, but the U.S. There's a huge opportunity there, and there's a huge opportunity there globally, and there is we've seen it in Canada that it does have an impact on the alcohol industry, and I think it's a positive one when people can openly choose cannabis that can give them their relaxation state or their socializing socializing hour, but have a less of a negative impact on the body than alcohol does. And so you can go and look at the reports in Canada, and even some of the states that it's legal at state level, and then draw that to the impact that's going to have at a federal level. And I think it took us, 1998, we got hemp legal in Canada. 2018, hemp legal in the US took 20 years. And when in 2018, I thought it was just going to be 2 or 3 years. And so I still sit there for the cannabis industry for marijuana in the US. And I think, it could just be 2 or 3 more years. It feels like it's so realistic, but the reality is it could be much longer than that. But I don't think it's a if. I think now it's a when. It's going to happen for sure. And I think it'll happen in many other countries around the world too.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
So I guess you want to do one more question since you have 3 minutes left.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan. I'm having a blast. I like helping out. I mean, I over the last couple of months, I've spent my fair share of time on Clubhouse, and it's a way that I like to think about it as kind of mass mentorship that can help a whole bunch of people that are listening and learning all at one time. So I appreciate you setting the stage and the interview up. And again, I don't have an ultimate time restriction, and I'll leave it up to you how you want it to flow.
All right. So it's so hard. It's giving me a headache if I scroll up and down too much for my eyes. So I'm getting old. Anyone want to just jump in real quick and ask a question?
Yeah, this is Dr. Bev. I have a question.
Go ahead, Dr. Bev.
Hey, thanks, Dan. Hi, Mike. I'm so glad that I had time in my schedule to actually I didn't, but you were talking and I'm like, I'm here. Love everything you're saying. I love it. I'm kind of in the health space too, but more mental health, which they go together, right? My question would be, dropping out of school, how would you say your journey, you were saying you didn't really dream super big, you thought $1 million business would be great, and that's kind of what this room is about, how to get there, but then it just blew up, and you were saying community really is the key. How much would you say you pursued mentors and advisors to help you along the way, or was there a little bit of serendipity and luck in your journey? I'm Dr. Bev.
Yeah, thanks, Bev. Yeah, I mean, you can't you can't do 20 years of business and not have serendipity and luck. I'm a big believer in that things happen for a reason. And I had some great mentors in my in my life and over my business career that we just attracted each other from and I said that earlier, but like make friends first, do business second. So hanging out with some professionals in the natural products industry that were 15, 20 years older than me, that they like to learn from me as a young entrepreneur, and I learned from them because I do believe that mentorship is two-way. It's not a one-way situation, mentor mentee. And so it was hugely impactful for me to learn more about more about how the industry works and make further relationships from there. I think that people should seek out their mentors. It's not always easy. You can't go up and ask someone, "Hey, can you be my mentor?" And I get that. If I told you how many times nowadays people are sending me LinkedIn notes saying, "Hey, can you be my mentor?" Which it won't work like that for anyone. You have to just make a relationship with someone, and it's not always meant to be. But when you find your person that you think that you can learn from, but you can also give back to, fully embrace those. Because they do make a huge difference in your career or your business journey.
Mike, I have a follow-up question on that. So I know you talked about people in college, and I know your story. You mentioned the best thing and the worst thing was not going to business school. So do you suggest that somebody, maybe they're just out of college or within the last year, maybe their job was interrupted, so now they're looking for work. Would you suggest that they maybe contact somebody and figure out a way that they can give back? So it's not that they're asking for a mentorship where they're just going to be receiving, but it's something that they're going to be giving and learning along the way.
100%, Dan. I think if it's better to like give, and then the receiving part will come naturally. Not giving with the receiving in mind, just giving because you realize that's what you want to do, and everyone's like, what can I give? I don't have much. Everyone can give something. If you went the school path and you just graduated school, there's people that are a couple years underneath you that would be looking up to you, right? If you're an entrepreneur and you're just starting in business, or you got a year under your belt in business, there's people that are saying like, how do you start the business? How do you incorporate a company? How do you organize the finances? You can be a role model or a mentor to someone. You don't have to have like ultimate success to make that happen. And so look for those opportunities, and if you look for the opportunities, you will see them, you will find them, and then that's your basis to work from. So I'd encourage everyone in that, especially as you spoke about there, if you're in transition. I think if you're in transition, whether you lost your job or you decided that the career path or your business didn't work out or it wasn't the right one for you, just be really mindful that you're in transition. Be very clear with what your next steps are and what in your heart what you really want to be working on, and then put your focus and attention there, and you'll come out of that transition ahead, instead of same or worse off.
That is
Hey,
fantastic.
this is Justine. Can I ask a question?
Mike, are you good for another one?
Yeah, keep it rolling. I'm good. Go ahead,
Mike,
Justine.
I just wanted to say thank you. This has been so incredible, so insightful, and there's just so much about it that I love. But one question that sprang to mind was, what is something that you placed a lot of importance on when you were growing your business that you look back in hindsight and say, yeah, probably didn't need to focus so much on that?
Oh, I like that one. I think, and I still tell myself on a regular basis. I wouldn't want to. What comes to mind is formality, but I don't think it's formality. But I always thought that I had to. Um, uh, in business, and so should I be, and I use the example of when I went to my first trade show. I bought a suit and tie, and I went to that trade show, and someone came up to me and were like, "Why are you wearing a suit?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm in business here, so I'm here to be professional." And they were like, "Well, you're the hemp guy," and then I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I can be myself because no one's expecting me to be any different, and I'm putting that pressure I'm putting that pressure on myself." And so I think the world we're living in nowadays, and I'm a quality for plants. Just be yourself. You're going to be the most impactful in your job or your business when you're coming from your own personal sense, not doing things because you believe other people want to see you that way.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, this
Thank you,
is
Mike. Oh, Frederick, real quick, just
yeah,
really
yeah. Just real
quickly.
quick.
Oh, you go, go,
No,
you go.
no. You go. Go ahead. I'll
Oh, I
follow
was
you.
just going to announce the room just so everyone knows because we had a bunch of people come in, and Mike's given some more time. So it's Mike Fata, founder's story in the What It Takes to Run a $1 Million Biz Club. Exited two companies, one for over 100 million. It was actually the same company. He then exited for over 400 million, which is incredible. Even just IPO'd. So he has. I know you're going to ask your question. Just make sure that please keep your question concise. Mute your mic when you come up. And so I'll open up hand raising, and we'll just get the first person that just raises their hand. I'll bring them up so they can ask a question after Frederick, if that's okay with you, Mike.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
Excellent. Over to you, Frederick.
Great. So I want to ask a similar question to Justine, but from the opposite end, right? So, uh, what is one thing that you have noticed, either about yourself or about other wealthy entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, that you would that you've learned you would pay for now, you would make the investment in now that maybe you didn't understand when you were starting out. So something that you pay for now, um, or invest in, that you would absolutely do without hesitation now that you wouldn't have done because you didn't understand the value when you first started out.
Whew, that's a tough one, Frederick. I like those tough ones. I think I thought it was a lot, especially when I was an entrepreneur. I thought it was a lot about doing. And don't get me wrong, it is a lot about doing. There's a lot of things to get done if you're just starting out in business, or you're starting out in your own business, or even just starting out in your career. You have to do a lot. But I think my biggest learning, and I see it from my friends and other people that are successful and other business leaders, you need to take a certain amount of time to think and plot out exactly what you want to do, instead of just doing all the time, because that strategy or that personal thought or that personal reflection, the learning, even Warren Buffett, reading a couple hours a day. I'm there now, and I wasn't there before. I thought I don't have time to do that. I have to do to create the success. But I think you need to give yourself the personal time to learn, to reflect, and I'm a big calendar guy. I've been vocal on this on LinkedIn. I time block, and I've for 10 years now I time block my day. I literally time block time for me just to sit and think with nothing else to do, and make sure that I have that time. So I would encourage everyone, if they're not doing that already, give yourself some personal reflection, thinking time, and that may incorporate some learning some things that you wouldn't necessarily learn as part of your business or your role. It'll be hugely beneficial. And the experts and the leaders and the successful business people all do it.
I love that. Thanks, Mike.
Always great question, Frederick. So I clicked the button. A couple people came up because this app, one person doesn't seem to come up, so the second person came up. So we got two people, but it is Shivangini. Can't wait to hear what is your question for Mike today.
Yeah, hi Daniel. I first and foremost wanted to thank you and Kate for organizing this group. Thank you so much. I am from India. My name is Shivangni. Hi Mike, it's great to see you again. It's my first week in Clubhouse, and I have two questions. I don't know too much about your background. I'm reading up on it, and it's extremely interesting. But you mentioned today that you were a 300-pound 18-year-old. So, how did your journey in health and in hemp specifically start? How did your passion for that start? That's my first question. And then I have a sustainability question that I'll follow up after you answer this, if that's okay.
I'm sorry, Mike, because Mike, I believe you kind of went through this today, correct? I mean, that was a big
Yeah,
part of the
yeah,
story.
yeah. I was going to say we touched on it, and I don't know whether Daniel, podcasting it, or there's a bunch on the if you were of different things that talk about that part of the story. So maybe for the audience, we can get to something that's more if for everyone to learn.
Yeah, let's
Daniel,
jump
if
to
you're
that. If you have a second question
Sure.
about sustainability, yeah, jump to
Sure,
that one.
sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I'm in the like I'm setting up my own startup in organics, and for me, it's really important to have my products packaged in, biodegradable products, in biodegradable packaging. But it's extremely difficult for me to source that in India right now because people aren't that aware about sustainability. So the product price is going to jump up, and I'm trying to figure that out. Like, were you ever faced with something like this? What did you do for your packaging, or for the ink, or the colors that you used for your products?
Yeah, I love that question, and I think the short answer is you have to pick your battles. And I could tell you that from Manitoba Harvest, we've always been a socially environmentally responsible business. We're one of the founding B Corps. For people that don't know, B corporations are a triple bottom line approach to business, and there's a certification. But hemp hearts is our number one product, and a very healthy seed, but it's fragile. It can oxidize. And so packaging, I've always wanted to do sustainable packaging. We've for 10 years have tested all the different biodegradable packaging, and the challenge was that it wouldn't keep the product fresh. It doesn't have the light and moisture barrier, and so the product would go rancid. And so we've and so we've had to use a plastic pouch packaging for hemp parts for all those years. And when I say pick your battles, the quality was number one for the product, and we couldn't downgrade the quality because we wanted to be more sustainable. But we did do offsets in a number of different ways because we wanted to have an overall environmental positive impact. So we were a carbon neutral manufacturer. We had a number of different environmental programs that kind of offset that. But I've been trying to solve that riddle for a long time, and I could just tell you that sometimes you don't try to over sustainable. The most sustainable business is one that's profitable and has life to it. That's how you're going to have your biggest impact. If you try to create a pure or perfect product, you may have failure with that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That really
You're
helped.
welcome. I think we might have lost Dan, but was it Ella as the other person that came up from the?
Yes, thank you, Mike. I'm Ella. I really enjoy this room and the way you're answering the questions. You're very successful yet humble man. So thank you for being here today. I am in Toronto, and I just launched a sustainable organic brand called Curalo here in Canada. And I'm extremely passionate about this new business of mine. It's going well. So I wanted to ask you, I'm on fire for my business, but I'm also concerned that that I'm spending too much time thinking about that, and my number one priority is to be the best possible mom. So some advice from you on how to find a balance there, being a parent yet uh, a very engaged entrepreneur. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, it's a tough one, Ella. And congrats on the launch of your business. I think it's and as a parent myself, I think it's about quality of time over quantity. For one, to make sure that the meaningful times you're spending with your kids, that your full attention's there, not as entrepreneurs we can be distracted and be kind of half there. I think that's the worst thing that you could do. So I think it's about the quality of time. And also, and depending on what age your kids are at, bring them into the business in some way. If they can, be stick labels on things or just be around. Like my kids came to trade shows with me when they were younger, and they understood what I was doing in business, and so it became part of them as well, and it became connective. But I'd go back to like making sure that when you're having fun time or learning time or whatever, specifically your kids, to be full time and attention, not be distracted and from your business.
Thank you. I love that answer. And the fact that you're saying you can bring the kids into the business in the sense of bringing them with you and let them learn from that too. So thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate that. This is Ella. I'm done speaking.
Great question. Sorry about that, Mike and everybody. I was lightly tucked away to the audience, and I couldn't figure out how to get back up.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it, Daniel. I promise. But I can mod too, so I thought I'd jump in there.
No, I appreciate that. We've changed it from dropped to being tucked away, or maybe I was sent to the mezzanine, level 2 or level 1. But no, I appreciate that. So sorry about the silence there. So what do you, Mike? Are you? I mean, it's an hour and 45 minutes, and we have over 2,000 people in this room. I know you've changed lives. I want everyone just to make sure we're showing Mike love. Make sure you give him a follow up at the top. He's all the way at the top. Just go all the way, scroll all the way to the top until you can't go any further. You have Frederick and Rahila right next to him. He's right in the middle there. He flashed with the green. Mike Fata is his name. You can check out his bio. Also, make sure that you're checking out his toolbox. It's free, like FREE. I mean, what else do you need in life? It's free, and it's going to give you all the things to him. Like once you've reached a certain level of success for you and helping you achieve your legacy, like you had mentioned. So thank you so much for being here. You tell us, Mike. Do you want to do one more question, or do you have to go?
Yeah, let's do. Let's do it until noon here Pacific time, Daniel. So I got whatever that turns out to be. It's a couple more questions, but I'd want to talk to you. And thanks for the shout out on the toolbox. I'm a proud high school dropout that created a business and was successful with like a 9-figure business. But we see all too often, and this isn't against anyone else on Clubhouse, but hey, I created success, and I'll show you how to create success. You just pay me, and what Greg and I really wanted to do was like give the tools to entrepreneurs in their startup journey, and not sell it, and not have an upsell, and not sell a course or whatever. It's all just really art. We wish we had those tools when we were young. We had some good mentors, and this is our form of mass mentorship. So if you go into my bio, you could download for free the Dropbox by sending the text or sending the email, and then we're holding a session next Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Clubhouse of like using some of those tools and being able to answer some questions from entrepreneurs, and so that's our 100% our give back. So thanks for mentioning that.
So was that connection made here on Clubhouse, or did you both know each other before and been thinking about it for a while?
No, I've known Greg for 10 years in the industry. He's highly successful, and I'm conscious to how many people I meet, and especially on Clubhouse, have met a lot of people, and it's a great way to meet people. But Greg and I have had a real relationship, but it was I've been doing a lot of mentoring. Greg does as well. It's a personal passion of both of ours, and so the thought of like, hey, how can we give back to, because again, people ask me all the time, hey, can you mentor me, or can I have a call with you? And I can't do it all the time. There's only so much time in the day. But Clubhouse and being able to get many people all together, or hundreds of people together, and being able to give them the tools and share the information with them, it's just such a great platform for that. So it all came to be in the last month, actually.
Amazing. So check out Mike's. Him and Greg have a great toolbox. I've gotten it. It's amazing. I think everybody was paid. I still would get it. So, and we're going to put it on our podcast. Just the first section where Frederick was interviewing him, I did not record anything after that when it came to Q&A. So just to let everybody know, if you did miss Mike's story, we have a podcast called Inspired by Her with Kate Hancock, and we are going to put this episode on there so everyone can hear the first half, which is just the part with Frederick and Mike. So Mike, just want to give you a heads up on that. And so everyone who missed that first half, you can hear it there. But please check out Mike here. Mike Fatah, amazing story. I am curious, Mike, there's such a rise in CBD. Hemp, obviously, when you got started and being a food and being a fat sporting, I couldn't hear the whole story. What's your thought now? It's being flooded with hemp, CBD specifically. And then the government, I know listening to you on a podcast before, you had government crack down significantly on CBD, and then all of a sudden they went off and allowed people to do CBD. It's very confusing, and I know a lot of people have no clue what the real laws even are. But what are your thoughts on opportunities in CBD or CB? I know there's other forms of CB, other thing.
Yeah, I mean, like hemp is is a wonder crop, right? It's been grown for thousands of years, Daniel, as a fiber source, the stalk of the plant, as a fuel, as a food, and even as a medicine or a drug. And so you can grow hemp, so not marijuana, doesn't have THC, tetrahydrocannabinol that's psychoactive, but has other cannabinoids. CBD is one, CBG, CBN, that have therapeutic effects. So people take CBD, and then it's calming. There's actually a CBD based pharmaceutical drug for kids and people that have epilepsy, and it'll take someone that has like convulsions on a regular basis, and calms their nervous system down so that they don't have those episodes. But everyday consumers have reported they take CBD and they feel more relaxed. Sometimes it makes them sleep better, just less anxious. And so over the last couple of years, since hemp's been legal in the U.S. since 2018, CBD, different companies started to manufacture and promote CBD. Then it became the traditional kind of gold rush. All these companies thought, oh, we can go in there and make CBD and make a lot of money with it. And so tens of thousands of acres of hemp were planted for CBD. All these manufacturers set up a CBD, and then a bunch of companies, like a thousand different companies, brought CBD and other cannabinoid products to market. But the reality is, and like anything, because it was a gold rush, some people had good intentions, and there's good quality product. Manitoba Harvest has a great quality product, but there was hundreds of companies that were putting product out that the FDA went and started testing and didn't have any CBD in it at all, and so the market's kind of been oversaturated and actually crashed, which is maybe a normal development in any kind of new industry, but I think it was based on like that kind of gold rush mentality of companies that were thinking that they were going to make a bunch of money on consumers. But at the end of the day, CBD and the other cannabinoid rich products, if it's a high quality product, it can be therapeutic as a supplement. And you can go and find those the quality products at better health food stores that sell kind of leading brands, and I think it's the product's good, but the amount of competition and the amount of poor bad actors in the space are kind of trying to take advantage of the money opportunity, unfortunately.
Yes, I think we saw that, and I remember them releasing tests and some. I don't remember what the news article or magazine in LA. They tested a whole lot of products that were based in LA, Los Angeles, and California, and they found most of them didn't even have any CBD in it. So, good call out there. One last question. I know you have a portfolio investment of companies, and you're always looking for new companies and startups. A lot of people in this room or come in this room. I'd say the majority are entrepreneurs. Many have startups. Many have established companies. What's something that you look for in these companies besides the industry that it's in? Because I think we know the industries that you're looking at. But what makes a company attractive to you? And I've seen a few of your companies that you're involved with, and I love the branding, the style. I mean, there's so many great things about the founders, great stories. So tell us, what's something that you look for when you want to invest or bring a company into your portfolio besides being in the industry or of health?
Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, it's product for me first. So, I'm a big health consumer. I eat natural and organic products every day. It's kind of my whole house is filled with it, and that's all it's filled with. So it starts with product for me. And whether I find the product at a health food store or in store, or I learn about the entrepreneur first and then go order some of their products online. It usually starts with product, and I find if I enjoy the product and I think it's a good quality and has efficacy, and it starts from there, and from there I think, hey, if I'm enjoying that product, then other people probably will as well when they get more exposure to it. And so it goes product to people. I think the entrepreneur themselves and what makes them tick, why they're doing it, why they're making. I have functional mushrooms in my portfolio, and have learned so much about functional mushrooms. And mushrooms are like cannabis. They can be a food, a medicine, a drug. And so I love functional mushrooms. I met the entrepreneur, and we hit it off. Same thing with plant-based protein and soul cuisine, and organic chocolate with midday squares. And so it's product first, and then the people that are involved. And if they have a strong why of why they're doing it, and they're eager to learn as an entrepreneur, then the other pieces, the investment of money and helping with strategy, and helping them to form their team and grow the business. Those are all things that I know that I can bring to the table. But it kind of develops organically from a love for the product first.
Man, I like that. The midday squares really attracts me. I love the branding, the story. I have to order that.
Oh,
So I'm excited.
it's a phenomenal product. I met them, a year and a half ago at one of our Canadian health food trade shows. took a first bite at the product at the booth, I was like, oh my God, I love this. I'm not eating any other kind of chocolate besides this. They've made a refrigerated chocolate bar that has 120-day shelf life, like you'd make it fresh at home, and just a great group of people. But I tell, use that as an example for anyone that's not following Midday Squares. You check it out, Midday Squares on Instagram or on LinkedIn. They're creating so much noise as a business, like showing a behind the scenes of their chocolate factory and what makes them tick and being themselves in business, that I think they're a great example for entrepreneurs that can share their story in that way, because the business is blowing up because not only is it a great product, but they're pulling on consumers' heartstrings by sharing their behind the scenes, sharing their why. And yeah, if you haven't order some up, it's I think you'll be, the peanut butter. Their peanut butter bar is a healthy is a healthy version of a peanut butter cup, and you probably won't go back after that. It's just phenomenal.
Yes, I love it's like it reminded me of Willy Wonka, but in real life. So I have enjoyed watching their story since I saw them. I think that's something with your page. So what an incredible story. I think we have to cut it there. I know
Yeah.
noon is coming up. So Mike, I really appreciate it. Please just share one more time. And before you share though, just everybody in here, Mike Fata, he's all the way at the top. There's 230 people right now in the room. Give him a follow and check out his bio. Grab the toolbox. The instructions are in there. Mike, can you flash your mic just one more time so everyone knows? There you go. He's in the green. I know. I gotta stop saying Mike and Mike in the same. But he's right next to Frederick and Rahila in the green above Kareen Mills. So Mike Fata in the green, please give him a follow, Mike, and just share one more time. Or if you have any last words or something you want to share, please, would love to hear.
Yeah, no, I just, thanks for the platform and the stage. I love sharing my personal story because I just want to be an example to entrepreneurs or the younger generation or anyone that's just trying to make themselves better, that you can, from I'm a big believer. There's nothing special about me. I can prove that you don't need formal education to start a business. If you put your heart and your soul into it and you align yourself with the right people, you're going to make success happen. And for the biggest part of that, just enjoy the journey. It's all about enjoying the journey. And if I can be an inspiration, connect with me on LinkedIn, and I put out a whole bunch of stuff on business and motivation and entrepreneurship on the regular, and also spend my fair share of time on Clubhouse. So I'm sure that we'll connect in other kind of rooms as well. So thanks again for having me and giving me the stage.
Yeah, so let's give it up for Mike here. Unmute your mic. Everybody on stage. It doesn't matter if you're speaking, moderating, everybody on stage.
Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
Yay!
Great job.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Mike.
Superstar.
The best.
There you go, Mike.
I so appreciate it. Yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll hopefully see you all soon.
Yeah, so please check on Mike's rooms. Every Tuesday he's got the toolbox. Click on his profile. Thank you again, Mike. We really appreciate you and everybody for joining and listening. Click the top, what it takes to run a $1 million biz. Click that house. Join the club. Make sure you hear. We do these. We have another one coming up later today with Dr. Finance. He's going to be having a room. I know you can get that information. Join the club. We also have a Facebook group that tells us same name as the club, where you can connect with people, find co-moderators, but also you can see all the rooms that we're doing and all the guests that we have. Like Mike Fata here was such an amazing guest. Gave 2 hours of his time. I just checked. We had over 2,000 people in the room. So thank you so much. So hopefully, we've just impacted and you've just inspired 2,000 people, which is incredible. Talk about legacy. So I think we're going to go back to the Q&A format, and I have to leave
Dan,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Dan, we're gonna talk about 15 minutes of takeaway. That way we can discuss about my
Kate,
story.
you're breaking up. But I think Kate, you're breaking up. But I think what she's saying is we're going to take the next 15 minutes to digest and discuss what are the takeaways from Mike today. I know I have so many. I think that's what she's saying. Is that right, Kate?
Stuff like that. Mike, thank you again. Let's do that.
Yeah, awesome. And Dan and Kate, congrats on what
That's
you're.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just leave you with congrats on what you're building. I mean, like 58,000 members in
Yeah.
the club. You know, anyone that's not already following the club, click on the greenhouse and follow the club because you guys are providing great value.
I don't think Kate knows that her reception.
You can party with us in Vegas, Mike.
I got that part, you know, and one day soon, look forward to meeting in person. So I'll leave it with you with that, and thanks again for what you're doing for all the entrepreneurs out there.
Thanks, Mike. There you go.
Great
Party in
weekend.
Vegas. All right. So, who wants to take over though? Because I have to. I actually have to leave right now. I'm 2 minutes late for something. So, anyone want to take over?
I'm
And
here, Daniel, if you need me.
who is that? I'm sorry. And if anyone wants to come up on stage and just share, what were some takeaways, some learnings that we just heard, or maybe some changes you're going to make just based on that information. What were you inspired by? You can just go around, maybe popcorn, maybe if somebody wants to come up and share as well. And then I'll leave it at maybe 15, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and I'll leave you there. Thank you,
If you're
Christine.
okay, why don't we start with the mods? And why don't if I'm just gonna go as in PTR order rather than popcorn order because it gets a little bit unruly. So if it's your turn and you have something to say, or just say pass, and it'll go to the next person. So if we quickly do a PTR, just to pull to refresh, we're gonna start up left hand. Frederick,
Sure, I'll see it through the week.
we got a hot
So,
mic somewhere.
Okay, I'll go since you did point to me quickly. I thought that Mike's answer to my last question was one that was really illuminating for me, which was booking time. And I've heard other success.
Saying is we're going to take the next 15 minutes to digest and discuss what are the takeaways from Mike today. She's saying, is that right, Kate?
Stuff like that.
That's what she's saying. Is that right, Kate?
Stuff like that. Mike, thank you again.